Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel Gaber, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel that began in the year 2000 in an attempt to modernize Marvel and its characters, bring them into the 21st century, and make it more accessible to new readers. So, Josh and I have been going through the original Marvel titles, such as Ultimate Spider Man, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate X Men, etc., etc. And we've been reading a batch of issues, just a handful at a time every week, and talking about what we like, what we don't like so much, what holds up, what hasn't aged super well, and also the impact and influence of the Ultimate Universe on Marvel in the comics and in other media. And this week we're doing something a little different. We're talking about the original Marvel Zombies from 2005, written by Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead and Invincible fame, and illustrated by Sean Phillips.
And in case you're wondering, it's like, hey, in the Ultimate Marvel podcast where you guys talking about Marvel zombies, it's because in Ultimate Fantastic Four, we ran into the Marvel zombies for a bit. In fact, our list kind of has a debate whether it's like, do you count this as Ultimate Marvel? And I go, in the most technical sense, no. In the actuality, why not? Like, this continues off of an Ultimate Marvel storyline anyway, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, we were introduced to the whole concept of Marvel zombies and this whole universe in Ultimate Fantastic Four. And the first couple series of Marvel Zombies, at least, just branch off of that and continue to explore that world and that universe after the Fantastic Four miraculously escape and hold their zombie counterparts hostage in the Ultimate Universe. So it's definitely worth following up on, we thought. And, the timing isn't too bad either, considering by the time this episode comes out, it'll be almost a week until the Marvel Zombies series comes out on Disney Plus. So, did we intend for that to happen? Maybe. Maybe not. Who's to say?
We definitely were talking about releasing this at the same time as Marvel Zombies, the show.
Okay, well, cat's out of the bag. It's confirmed.
No, but I was afraid you were gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna release this for Halloween," and I was like, "That's in like over a month away. How are you gonna do that, man?"
Yeah, and like with the timing of the series at the end of September, we thought it would be worth revisiting the original Marvel Zombies series because it's clearly had such an impact on Marvel as a whole, even outside of the Ultimate Universe. And I think it really says something that most people probably wouldn't even think of the original Ultimate Universe when they think about Marvel Zombies, because it kind of just became its own thing. It became a big cult hit, and they continued on with so many different miniseries. There's at least 5 miniseries, at least that they number. There's more than 5 miniseries for Marvel Zombies, because then there's Marvel Zombies Return, Marvel Zombies Resurrection, Marvel Zombies Destroy, yada, yada, yada. There's so many different spin offs and versions and sequels of Marvel Zombies. It really just became its own corner of Marvel. And so we thought, well, why don't we just go back to where it all began? Since we already talked about the Ultimate Fantastic Four arc where they were introduced, anyways. So here we are.
It's kind of like Miles Morales, where it's something that starts off in Ultimate, spins off until people forget it has its origins in Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
because Miles
exactly.
Morales, I feel is another thing. People, if you don't pay super close attention, you might just forget. It's like it's an alternate universe, but you forget that he started off in specifically Ultimate Marvel.
Totally, especially now that he's been the lead in 2 different movies that have been huge hits that everyone has loved, the Spider-Verse films, and he's gained such mainstream popularity. Miles Morales isn't even thought of as an Ultimate Marvel character, especially now that he's for years been integrated in the main Marvel universe. He's just become his own thing. But yeah, Josh, you want to just like dive in to Marvel Zombies #1?
Yeah, actually, this is why we did this. It starts off where Ultimate Fantastic Four left off. Magneto says, "I saved the world," like he did it. The machines destroy and the zombies can't invade another Earth.
That's right. So we just pick up right where he left off, as Josh said, and we follow Magneto in the first issue of this miniseries as what seems to be the last survivor of this zombified Marvel universe. And so he looks around and he's just surrounded by the Marvel heroes of this world who have been corrupted and twisted into zombified shells of themselves. And they're all like, it's funny because the zombies in this universe, all the time they are similar to their original counterparts without being exactly the same because they're monsters. So like Captain America's being reasonable, he's being like stand down, and I promise he's like trying to be all honorable, being like, we'll end it quick for you. And everyone's like trying to talk him down as they would when they were heroes, except in this case, they're trying to talk him down so they can eat him. But Magneto just fights back and he just uses his powers as the master of magnetism to just fling metal at everyone.
Like cars, the shield, and he says epically, "There's still a fight left in me."
Yeah. No, it's badass. I
Yeah,
love that Magneto is the last survivor here because he puts up one hell of a fight. Like, he's Magneto. The beginning of the series is fun just for the Magneto versus zombies aspect alone. And he also uses his powers to, like, fling Captain America's shield back at him and just chop off, like, the top of his head, or Colonel America in this version.
yeah.
His brains are just sticking out the whole time. Spider-Man's chasing him and his leg falls off. And now he's like, help, I broke my leg in half. Which is very funny, like the whole mundanity of it. These zombies constantly losing body parts is very fun. It's kind of a campy, like goofy horror comic here.
Yeah. And also, Magneto is a classic zombie horror movie thing. You gotta hide. And I really like this because it's very much a zombie franchise with a superhero setting. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel everyone's tired of like survivors and a zombie, so you just gotta put twists in it. Like, oh, it's set in 15th century Korea is my favorite because then you have muskets instead of guns. And here it's like, no, you have superpowers to defend yourself from the zombies. So you could just throw a car at a few of them if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so he is playing that role of like the last survivor in a horror movie. And I think this is really going to show like, oh, this is Robert Kirkman, writer of The Walking Dead. He knows exactly what he's doing and just writing a classic zombie horror tale. Magneto, when he's hiding, contacts Asteroid M, his like one of his several satellite bases out in space that he's had in the past, and he gets word from them that there are more survivors, more than he actually thought. They said there's at least 12 of them up there, which is interesting because in the last story arc, Magneto was talking about how there are no more survivors left. So a flicker of hope is given to us,
To
which
be
is
fair, he didn't
interesting.
realize that there were survivors on Asteroid. He thought like there was a chance they were wiped out too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And his thing is like, if I could get it to the asteroid, I'm safe. These guys can't get to space, as far as we know yet.
Yeah, so we are given quite a flicker of hope here. Unfortunately, as Magneto's moving like his sewer manhole, he gets caught by Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's like, he's over here, but Magneto quickly decapitates Hawkeye with the sewer manhole and also gets shot with an arrow, unfortunately. So he's wounded and he's on a run from all these heroes, but there's still fight left in him. And he
Yeah.
like uses his power to collapse a building on everyone, and he's really talking himself up now, and he's like, I can't be defeated and I won't be defeated, which famous last words, because the Wasp then immediately comes up behind him and bites him, and it's all over for Magneto at this point, unfortunately.
I believe this is how most of the heroes are infected in the What If episode. Is that Wasp, Hank Pym Wasp bites him.
But yeah, everyone starts fighting over Magneto now. The Hulk rips off Magneto's leg and he's
Yeah.
like, it's mine.
And
And
Janet fights with Hank. Some things never change.
yeah, some things never change. This is just as bad, if not worse, than any version of Ant-Man and the Wasp that we've seen. But
Yeah.
we'll get into that more. Then there's just this visceral, like brutal page where like there's so many panels in this grid, and it's just close-up shots of Magneto being torn apart and like the zombies' mouths as they're like chewing on parts of Magneto, and a lot of close-ups just on like guts and intestines and the zombies eating. It's like nasty and
It's
horrific.
a recurring theme in this series. It's just the guts, the gore, the blood, the violence.
Yeah, don't read Marvel Zombies if you're like squeamish or
Yeah.
yeah, faint of heart. Like this is definitely not for your sensitive viewers.
Yeah. But after they eat, people kind of settle down.
Yeah, like the Hulk, when he's satiated, turns back into Bruce Banner. This is an interesting detail that once everyone has eaten for a while, they start thinking more clearly. It's really interesting too, because when that happens, they are all actually thinking through the rules about being a zombie in this universe, which hats off to Robert Kirkman on this one. He's figuring out the rules and explaining it to the reader as these characters try to figure out the rules of how they work, which is
Yeah.
cool how they try to figure that out. They're like, all right, Hawkeye lost his head, but is he dead? Can we die? Like, we know that we can feel no pain, but if like we lose our heads and we're still alive, I think we should be fine. Captain America lost like the top half of his head. This is interesting. So they're all like trying to slowly piece together just how their bodies work now in this new system.
Spider-Man goes like, "Oh, like I feel guilty. I hate my aunt and my wife because in this universe, he didn't make the deal yet."
This is pre One More Day, yes. And
In the script I
I
wrote it
think
as "wife" with my fingers up.
how dare you? You really want to
How?
get into this again?
Well, just saying he ate her. He can't love her that much.
What about Aunt May? He ate her too.
You know, she was on her way out. She was an old lady. She'd gladly give up her flesh so her children could live, like a spider.
Jeez. Cold-hearted Josh King. My God.
It's funny. Annika and I were just watching like a documentary about that the other day. So
About zombies?
no, about spiders giving up their lives so their children can eat them.
Well, I'd love to talk more about that later. But this is very classic Spider-Man of he's constantly racked with guilt, and it's actually kind of a fun play on that trope of now he's racked with guilt as soon as he thinks clearly, because of course he does, because he literally ate his wife and his aunt. So like this is like his usual Parker guilt times like 1,000. When now he's like, as soon as he starts thinking clearly, his conscience kicks in and he's like, oh my God, what have I done? Because of course it does, because it's Spider-Man. There's nothing more Spider-Man than his conscience kicking in and him suddenly feeling the guilt and the weight of all his actions. And also we get a horrific visual of Magneto's bones bursting out of Bruce Banner's stomach, because when the Hulk reverted to Banner, he obviously shrunk. So now like the bones that he has consumed are like too big for his body. It's like horrific. A lot of body horror like that.
With Giant Man and Hulk there, I'm more surprised that there's like enough food for everyone. Because Magneto's like, yeah, he's a tall guy, but is a human really that much meat? Like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he ate a whole leg.
Yeah.
Magneto was a tall guy, so like, I don't know, that's a
Yeah.
lot for one
Yeah, but
person
like
to eat.
a tall guy. Okay, one person to eat, but there's like 12 of them. So
Yeah, but the Hulk was the only one to eat that leg.
yeah, but the rest of the people are satisfied. Like, I guess they're not because he. Well, they are because they're calmed down and they're talking again. Anyway,
Yeah.
they see more food because the Silver Surfer decides to ascend right then.
Yeah, the first issue ends with the Silver Surfer appearing, and the next thing they literally say is, more food! So they're so excited that, like, the Silver Surfer has arrived.
Yeah. And the next issue just starts with the Silver Surfer just going like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta take a look at this place.
Yeah, like, I'm out, actually, I need a second. But it's
Yeah.
really fun. From this point on, you can tell we are just following the story of the Marvel zombies. I think that was a good, like, twist on things, because the first issue starts and you think we're just following Magneto, but he gets eaten and ripped to shreds, and he's dead and gone. So this series is fun because we're just following the Marvel zombies. They all start getting into a fight, they all start getting territorial about how they're going to get more food, and are there any more people left, and what are we going to do next.
They kind of listed Giant Man or Hank Pym, I guess, because he's the biggest and he could just make commands.
Yeah, because he's a genius, and yeah, he's obviously really big. And I think also with Reed Richards gone from this universe and the Fantastic Four being taken prisoner back in the Ultimate Universe, I feel like Giant Man is the next reliable genius. I mean, Tony Stark is there too, but he seems like he's in a separate faction of these zombies at first.
And I think, realistically, even though Hank Pym is sometimes written as a joke, especially in Ultimate, he's a genius who's also big and can turn small and controls ants. You don't really want to mess with him if he's actually, like, has his act together, which unfortunately Zombie Pym kind of does.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much they listen to Zombie Pym. That's how you know this universe is messed up. People are listening to Hank Pym.
It's like an evil version of Shaq.
Yeah. But as Hank like leaves and he says he's going to like find his wife, the Wasp, but he tells this group to like let Iron Man and the rest of the zombies know that Magneto got blown up by a gas explosion because they didn't want them to know that they ate Magneto and didn't share with anyone. So they're like, "Oh yeah, he just got blown up. Too bad. None of us got any meat."
It also makes it sound like Iron Man's like kind of like playing this manager or CEO role, where he's like telling people what to do from a giant computer room because they have to
Yeah.
bring him meat.
Well, the whole series also just seems like it's about showing off how inherently greedy and insatiable and selfish all these heroes have become now that they have turned into zombies. So
Yeah.
obviously, when someone else isn't around, they're like, all right, here's my chance. I'm going to eat this person all for myself and I'm not giving to anyone else.
Well, people also get weird when they get hungry. Like, I know it's like the reason we have hangry people in real life. People become cannibals sometimes when there's no food.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me. There's like a weird take, but like in World War One, like right before Germany was about to win this battle, and they sent their best troops ahead. The best troops like stopped fighting, and the general showed up and was like, "Why aren't you guys fighting?" He found out the Germans found like the British supply of food, and we're like, they stopped fighting just to eat. It's kind of like that, except
Yeah.
they're
You're
all
really
eating.
not you when you're hungry.
I know. It's like, well,
Hunger will drive your actions because it's one of the things at the base of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're going to fulfill that need no matter what.
yeah. Except in this case, like it seems the hunger is not insatiable because they do calm down when they're done eating. The only problem is they kind of open about the fact they've exhausted most humans in this world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they've eaten pretty much everyone and it's only a temporary effect. And so now they're like, all right, how else are we going to get meat and like satiate our hunger? Because we'll go crazy otherwise.
I can't believe I just made this connection. It reminds me of that Ethan Hawke movie that's not that good, but I kind of like it, where most of the world got turned to vampires and they're just running out of humans to drink.
Yes. Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah, that was a movie that was made.
I bet it was one of
Uh,
the movies of all time.
it's not a great movie, but it had an impact on a young me because that's like one of your first exposures to real horror as a kid is stuff like this. I read this in high school, by the way. Fun
Marvel
fact.
Zombies.
I didn't remember at all, and I don't think I finished it, but I definitely remember I read chunks of this in high school, and it had an
Yeah,
impact on me.
I didn't read this like in its entirety until like a year ago for the first time. Like it took me a while because I just saw panels and briefly skimmed over it, and I think it was too much for my sensibilities as a kid.
It was too much for me. I'm like, the heroes I respect just eat a planet? Spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, they become unrecognizable in a
Yeah.
way because of all the horrific things they do, but you kind of have to distance yourself from it because they are zombies, so they've totally transformed. They're not the same as they once were.
Yeah. I do like it's this one scene here where Spider-Man asks for a ride and he gets on Luke Cage's back and Luke Cage goes like, "Get on my back, you cripple."
Spider-Man and Luke Cage have a very fun relationship in this series. I really enjoy their dynamic. Just the two street level guys looking out for each other.
Yeah, because they're zombies and pretending to. They're the most normal, I feel though, because they at least they talk regularly when they're not eating.
Yeah, that's true. They're kind of like chill with each other when they're not hungry.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that Hank Pym actually went to his lab to check on Black Panther, who is
Yeah.
alive and has not been turned into a zombie. And it's revealed that Hank is storing T'Challa in his lab and like slowly feeding off of chunks of him to stay sane and hoarding for himself. And so Black Panther's like his emergency food supply. So T'Challa's already missing an arm. Hank also takes his foot to like have a snack and he just makes it so that his mind is normal so he can continue his experiments on the
Yeah.
zombie virus. And so Hank comes off really super villain in this one. Not just a monster zombie like the rest of them, but he seems like he's going full mad scientist in this new state.
When I was reading this, I thought, oh, maybe Hank is like being like this mad scientist, but on the good side, where it's like, yeah, I don't like what I'm doing to T'Challa, but I'm doing this to cure us. And then he finds out, no, he's just eating him.
He literally says like, if I wasn't a zombie and if I was turned back, I would still like the taste of human flesh. And I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I've been told, because I took an anthropology class a while back on cannibals, that human flesh is like pork, but tastes. I know you don't have pork, but you know what I mean. But it's like really good.
Well, That's horrifying. So
Yeah,
Hank Pym is totally a sociopath, at least in this. This version of Hank Pym is like all the horrible things about Hank Pym from the main universe just mashed into one character with like none of the redeeming qualities.
he would still be played by Michael Douglas. He is the kind that would go, greed is good, by the way.
Yeah.
He has guilt though, because he goes like, I bet if you were alive and awake, you'd let me do this, which is a
Yeah, and
horrifying thing.
T'Challa's like barely awake and he's like, I'm alive and I don't do this. I don't want you to do this. It's so funny. He's immediately like, no, I am alive. I'm awake. Don't do this to me. This is not
uh,
what I want.
but unfortunately, like every single time a man sneaks off to eat in the dead of night, his wife catches him.
Yeah. She's like, oh, okay, raiding the fridge again, huh? Without
Yeah,
me?
Raiden.
No
Yeah,
wonder
this is
the
why you're sleeping
grocery
on the
bills have
couch.
gone up. Yeah. What did I tell you about those midnight snacks?
You're getting fat.
And so Janet gets very upset that obviously Hank has been lying to all of them and hoarding Black Panther for himself. And they get into this huge fight. We almost get an exact recreation of the infamous Hank Pym slap of the Wasp from way back when. The one that has tainted his character ever since. He does backhand her and then
Yeah,
ends
and
up
she shoots
like,
him.
yeah, and it's worse. It's far worse than the original because then he also bites off her head and tries to eat her, but then he spits it out because it tastes awful. Because it turns out zombies hate the taste of other zombies.
One of the reasons he kills her was because she goes like, "You're gonna share with me, or else I'm telling the rest of them."
Yeah, so he's like, well, I can't have that.
Yeah, that's still better than Spider-Man and MJ, because Spider-Man just eats his wife. At least Hank Pym doesn't eat his wife.
Because she tastes awful because she's already a zombie. He tries to eat her.
As DC would say, good people don't eat their wives.
Oh my gosh.
I've made this joke twice now, and I
Heroes
wonder
don't
if
do that.
yeah, I don't. I want to know how many people have noticed. And then T'Challa wakes up just in time for this carnage. Just asks him to be killed, and Pym shushes him and goes like, "It's okay, man. Daddy has work to do."
It's awful. And
He's a
then
super villain.
the rest of, yeah, the rest of the zombies return to Iron Man, who easily deduces, okay, you guys are lying to me. Magneto did not die in a gas explosion. Because he's like, oh yeah? Okay, how's your wife and aunt, Spider-Man? And Spider-Man's like, oh god, why would you say that? What have I done? I'm
But
like, yep, they're fine.
Iron Man's kind of a chill boss. He goes like, "It's okay. If I was in your shoes, I'd do it too."
Yeah, he gets it. He's like, I'm also a zombie. I'm also greedy and super selfish. It's fine. You did what
Iron
I
Man
would have done.
I really hope in his regular form, Tony Stark is just a chill guy to work for. He goes like, "Yeah, I know you're late, but I know you had your mom's funeral. It's okay."
Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me though of like Frank from Always Sunny, when he goes like, "Charlie, you stole from me, but that's leadership, baby."
Yeah. He just like admires that. He's
It's
like,
like,
that was horrible, but good job.
you guys ate a person without telling me, but I would have done the same thing. I don't want to share.
Kudos. Yeah, props to you.
That's on me for leading from the back.
Yeah. And yeah, so they're all talking about where they're going to get their food from now because there's like almost no people left on Earth. They are thinking about like finding some like hidden politicians in
They
like
said
underground bunkers, like
it's
congressmen.
specifically, they say they haven't eaten any congressmen because they're like, we ate everyone, but Congress is probably still out there in their bunkers, and they know that because Steve was president apparently for at least half a term or something.
Yeah, this is such an interesting. They keep changing little things all along the way in what looks to be fundamentally the same Marvel universe as like 616.
Yeah,
But they'll still add in little things about like, yeah, Captain America or Colonel America was the president for a little bit, not even a full term, but still.
yeah. And what I find interesting is that, like, oh, in the world where everything has gone to shit and there's a bunch of superpowered zombies running around, the greediest bastards in the world still somehow lived in
Yeah.
bunkers. But there's interesting because they're now that the food's going scarce and they're thinking straight. Zombie Iron Man is concerned. They're like, okay, what happens next? Do we start eating each other? Will our hunger overwhelm us that much? And he goes like, maybe we got to split into teams and just have us spread out around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's an interesting idea. But they are interrupted once again by the arrival of the Silver Surfer, who is announcing that Galactus is about to come and eat their whole planet.
And it's interesting. He says, look, there's not much life left. You guys ate most of it, but there's just enough for Galactus to eat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, we can do this still. We can make it happen.
Galactus will just have to be on a diet for a few months after this planet.
He might have to find more food later, like shortly thereafter. But
It's like the joke with Chinese food. It's like you eat it in 15 minutes, you're hungry again.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But they all just go after him at the end and are like, all
yeah.
right, let's eat this bitch.
That's the thing. I'm like, look, you guys can't eat machines as far as we know. I don't think we've seen a zombie-fied vision yet. Well, I don't even know if that's possible. And I'm like, this guy might not even be edible. He's a cosmic being. You're gonna make an attempt for it? That's shameless.
I know, but they're zombies. They are
Yeah.
shameless already. They've
Yeah.
eaten everyone they've ever loved and any human being who's existed. They see a bright, glowing silver guy in the sky who looks like a person, and they're looking for more food. They're like, power cosmic, baby. Now that's something else. That's extra fuel right there.
And that's how number 3 begins. They attack him, and Surfer kind of is blasting them apart and goes like, hey, you guys are, he calls them abominations who like, look, you guys destroyed this planet. If I were you, I'd long for my death. You guys are monsters.
Yeah, he's like, you guys are disgusting.
Yeah.
And they really don't care at all. They just keep going after him because they're like, food, food, food. And there's a lot of failed attempts to get the surfer, like zombie Wolverine. His arm shatters flesh and bone, which is crazy because adamantium coats his skeleton. But
Well, it's the power cosmic.
yeah, the power cosmic just shatters his arm, flesh and bone gone. Zombie Stark like gets the bottom half of his body blown off.
And is still alive, surprisingly.
Yeah, but somehow it takes a lot to kill these zombies, even though the surfer kills a lot of them.
Zombie Thor knocks him off the board for a second, but as anyone who knows the Silver Surfer or has seen the new movie knows, he just summons it right back out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And zombie Hank Pym sees this fight and turns around and runs away because he's like, I'm gonna wait until this is over.
This guy might kick my ass.
Yeah, like they can handle it. I will let everyone else sacrifice themselves
Yeah.
until he's stopped.
Zombie Spider-Man rips his own leg off, saying, this is slowing me down, just in time for Zombie Hulk to arrive.
Yes, Banner finally gets hungry enough to become Zombie Hulk, and I just love that little detail. Again, just like the Spider-Man bit, nothing could be more Hulk than as soon as he gets hungry, instead of getting angry, he turns into the Hulk and transforms. This is giving new definition to you're not you when you're hungry. And so
I think it turns into Hulk when it's hungry in the Ultimates, I bet. I think.
yeah, probably in the Ultimates too, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Because the spins right out of that. But the Hulk grabs the Silver Surfer only to get blasted in the face. But he comes back hungrier / angrier than ever and bites the Silver Surfer's head off.
Yeah. Right then, Hank Pym shows up with Peter Parker and zombie Tony because he helped them get to the meal. You know, he's a nice guy sometimes.
Occasionally, yeah. I'm actually surprised that he helped them get to the Surfer because I was like, I thought you guys were all about leaving each other behind, especially Zombie Giant Man. Zombie Hank Pym is worse than all of them.
I think he just takes the body, I'm trying to remember, with zombie Peter Parker and Tony.
Yeah, he just grabs them and they go at the body.
Hulk ate the head and he's still hungry.
Yeah, they're all super upset too at Giant Man for just snatching the Surfer's body. All the zombies that didn't eat the Surfer are mad at all the handful of zombies that did eat the Silver Surfer.
It's the main cast of Giant Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Tony Stark, basically.
Yeah, Luke Cage, Wolverine, and the Hulk. That's the handful of them that actually ate the Silver Surfer. And Beast is like upset and is like yelling at Captain America, and Captain America points at him and tells him to shut up and unwittingly blows off Beast's head with the power cosmic. And it turns out that they gained the power cosmic by eating the Surfer.
And so the heroes that don't have it just get their asses kicked, really.
Yeah, like they just kill everyone else. So again, just a handful left. Giant Man, Colonel America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Wolverine, and the Hulk. That's it. That's our cast now.
It kind of reminds me of Combo Man, where like his knees have the power cosmics and he has a bunch of other powers too. I'm like, well, you don't need the other powers if your knees bend reality too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, your knees will kick anyone's ass. You don't need Wolverine's claws.
Yeah.
T'Challa and Janet surprisingly escaped. T'Challa is escaping with like, if you've seen those old pictures of tribesmen like holding a head they chopped off, it's like he's just limping along with holding Janet's head by the hair, and she was like, can't I eat a piece of it? He goes like, no, Janet, you're an abomination. You're missing your stomach. You can't eat. Like, why are you obsessed with eating?
Yeah, seriously. I think It's really cool seeing T'Challa get away, even on like one leg, and with zombie Janet's head. This is what we've got left of the Marvel Universe as we know it in Marvel Zombies. Like, it's really just a mostly intact Black Panther and like this zombie head of the Wasp. And it's so sad. And it really shows this moment of melancholy over what this universe has become, because T'Challa's even like, I wished and I hoped and I prayed that this was some kind of bad dream, but I just can't seem to wake up. And he still holds on to Janet, even though he knows she's not the same. He still sees her as his friend, as a fellow Avenger, but the reality is she's not the same person because she's dead now, and this zombie is inhabiting her body. But he still can't help but associate her with his friend and refuses to let go. It's just so sad, especially because, like you were saying, he says, you don't even have a stomach, you're just a head, and this ridiculous hunger still takes you over.
Yeah. That actually is also an interesting point. What's the point of eating? You don't have a stomach. But they luck out because they bump into Magneto's gang, who are like, where's Magneto? And actually, where's everyone else?
Yeah, the Acolytes arrive, for those of you 90s X-Men fans, led by the infamous Fabian Cortez and his whole gang.
Doesn't he have a Magneto fetish now, canonically?
Yeah, he was a huge suck-up who just was out to gain power for himself, but really sucked up to Magneto.
In the Krakoa storyline, I think, they did a thing where he tries to bang someone and she doesn't because she refuses to have a Magneto helmet on during sex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he definitely had a little thing for Magneto, but he took it a little too far. So far that Magneto was like, you gotta chill out. Like, you gotta stop.
Meanwhile, back with the fight scene, the cosmic zombies, as I call them now, ate the zombies that were pissed off that they didn't get a bite. But even then, they revealed even the power cosmic doesn't have the power to make zombies taste good.
Yeah, they're like, that's still nasty.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't matter because the issue ends with Galactus arriving as the new potential food source for these zombies. And he's like, where's my surfer? Where's the Herald? And they're like, we ate him. And he's like, what? Galactus is like, what? That's my thing. What do you mean? You ate? Are you kidding me? And they're like, you're next.
It's kind of like you walk into your fridge and you find out like your PB&J sandwich ate like the chicken. You go like, what?
Yeah, you're like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
The next issue is with them going, we hunger. And he goes like, you hunger? And he just kicks the ass.
He's like, what do you mean? Well, you hunger? What about me? I hunger. You don't hunger. You don't know hunger the way I know it. I hunger for whole planets.
It's my thing.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And I'm not a dick about it either, because that's just my thing. I eat planets.
That really shows that the Marvel Zombies are way outside their weight class. Even as they wield the power cosmic, they have nothing on Galactus, so he basically gets them on the run. Even the Hulk agrees they have to retreat because Galactus will destroy them all.
I think he says, like, Hulk's scared of Big Purple Man or something.
Yeah, so they gotta regroup and retreat because Big Hungry over here really showed them what it was like.
And it's funny because they have the power cosmic, and they're still, and Galactus just calls them a nuisance.
Yeah, they're just pests to him.
Yeah. Stark leads them away, and they go to Hank Pym's lab, which is empty.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Hank is like, okay, don't freak out when you see this. You're gonna see something weird. And he like pulls out this slab that is empty. The Black Panther's gone. So they're like, what were you trying to show us? And he was like, I ate Janet, but she got away. That's it. Nothing else. There was nothing else here. Just the zombie that you already knew existed, not the Black Panther who is also alive, and I kept a secret.
I wonder if this Hank Pym is like a dick and like Ultimate Pym, and they go like, "Oh, you killed your wife. You're already a dick. You already committed spousal abuse. We expected that."
Yeah. They're like, that's nothing new for you, man.
Yeah. Panther's talking to the mutants, and one of them thinks it's a trap and tries to attack him. So he just throws Janet at him, and Janet eats him as a head.
Yeah, it's crazy how willing he is to just throw a zombie head at someone, like one of the last remaining humans, or mutants even, non-zombies, and kill someone with his zombie friend's head. I'm like, that's
a tenth
crazy.
of humanity. He just wiped out like under 10% of humanity just now.
You can't just go around killing other people. There's only so many of you left.
I also love how they're like, he's a zombie. Look, he's missing so many episodes, and they're like, oh no, he's just a cripple. They're like, damn man, that sucks.
Like, that's rough, buddy.
Yeah, but it's also funny because he kills a guy with Jana, and they're all kind of cool. It's like that guy's an ass. He had it coming.
Yeah, even Fabian Cortez is like, yeah, well, we can't really judge Black Panther for acting in self-defense. So this guy was asking for it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So they go to the asteroid, and they also take Janet with them because T'Challa insists, "No, we're taking my friend Janet." And they look at Janice as his head eating a guy.
Yeah, they're like, this zombie head is your friend? And he's like, you have to treat her with respect. I'm like, a
Like
zombie head?
she's like Pac-Man. She's just eating a person.
Like, you're crazy, dude.
Yeah.
We cut to Luke Cage and Spider-Man playing Go Fish while the geniuses work on like a way to stop Galactus.
You know, I don't know why in the 2000s, whenever you have two random characters hang out, they play Goldfish, because I'm like, you know, there's other games that are better than Go Fish. Go Fish is like the most boring card game there is, in my opinion.
I think it's just an excuse to get them talking at that point. I feel
Yeah,
like that's just like so you don't have to think about the game.
you don't have to think about the game if it's blackjack. You just have the characters, you know, doing their thing. Go Fish is like the most simplistic and stupid game. It's by people who make characters to Go Fish. It's because they don't know any other card game.
So you calling out Robert Kirkman for this, saying he doesn't know how to play cards?
I kind of am. I'm like, Go Fish is not fun. It's fun if you're in elementary because you don't know better.
Yeah.
But like once you're an adult, there's so many other dumb card games you could play that are mindless and fun, like blackjack, solitaire, rummy.
Yeah, Solitaire is a one-person game.
Yeah, but you could like do it as a team, or you could just have both people do it by themselves and just talk.
I think Go Fish is easier than that.
Go Fish, I guess it's easier, but it's no fun. No one wants to play Go Fish. I will never play Go Fish again. If
You
I
would
could
rather
avoid
play Solitaire side by side with someone else?
it. Kind of, yeah. If I was to get married, I think a good time to have is just sit with your wife and just not talk and play solitaire across from each other silently.
Wow. I mean, that's surprisingly emotionally healthy, and that you're not
Yeah.
dependent on each other, but at the same time, don't you want to spend time with your wife?
Yeah, by playing solitaire quietly as opposed to Go Fish, which is like, oh, you have to think about it, but it's like such a mindless, numbing task. What do you talk about while you do this stupid activity? No, solitaire silently or talking just seems to be a much more healthy activity to do with a friend or a partner.
Damn. Well,
I know.
Dr. Josh over here giving out relationship advice. All right,
Exactly.
kids today, if you can find someone who will play solitaire with you side by side, you've truly made it. That's relationship goals.
Or not side by side, just you're both at a table, one person's on one end, one person's on the other, and you just play solitaire by yourselves. And occasionally you talk about the day. That's way more healthy than Goldfish. Goldfish is like you're dedicating a portion of your energy and brain to something so pointless. But it's just enough dedication that you can't really talk. So I'm like, where's the fun in that? Where's the development in that?
Damn. Much to think
I know.
about.
I know.
But anyways, after that small tangent, it's fun seeing Luke Cage and Peter playing cards together and just hanging out because they are like the only real street level heroes on this team in this group of Marvel zombies. So they can kind of relate to each other.
Also the most human and normal of the zombies and characters left. Like Hank Pym is his genius scientist, Tony Stark is his billionaire, Captain America was president, and here's Luke Cage, who's from like a regular part of New York City, with Spider-Man, who's from a regular part of New York City, just talking about life and being zombies.
Yeah, and so Luke Cage just gets to asking Peter, why do you keep your mask on still? It doesn't matter anymore. You don't need it. And Peter explains that he can't look himself in the mirror anymore after what he did. He's still horrified and guilt-ridden over eating and murdering his wife and aunt, that he can't look himself in the eyes anymore and he can't see his face in the mirror because it would just be too painful for him. Which is so sad. Like, oh, Spider-Man hits hard even in Marvel Zombies. I was like, my emotions.
There was a YouTube video essayist who said, you know, Spider-Man in Marvel Zombies is the most Spider-Man of the Spider-Man, in his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with him reading this.
Yeah, because he goes like, well, this Spider-Man actually feels guilt, and when he does the bad thing, which he can't help but do because he's a zombie, he actually feels guilty and punishes himself later on.
Yeah. Like, this is such a contradiction to his character that the guilt and just the trauma of it all just weighs on him and crushes him in this version.
The main Avengers, however, come back at this point, and it's revealed they kind of just ate Wakanda casually.
Well, they say they had to fly through Wakanda to grab this newly extracted vibranium, but they're like, yeah, that place is in a bad state.
Yeah, because
It's
they ate
nasty.
everyone there, I bet.
Yeah, at that point, or other zombies already did. But
Yeah.
they also had to get some crystals from the Sanctum Sanctorum. They had to grab supplies from the Baxter Building and
And
Castle
Castle
Doom.
Doom.
But they also talk about how much easier and faster it is to fly places now that they just have the power cosmic. So
Hmm.
they can like zip around the Earth so quickly.
Yeah. It's also interesting because earlier they were like, the only guys who could beat Galactus maybe is Reed Richards, and he and the Fantastic Four are gone.
Yeah, it really shows the impact of losing the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards, especially in a story about Galactus and the Silver Surfer coming to Earth. That is the quintessential Fantastic Four story, is that Galactus trilogy from the Lee Kirby run.
Yeah.
And without the Fantastic Four, Earth would not have survived.
Yeah.
That's a major event. So now they're dealing with this for the first time, and they don't have the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. It's interesting that this Fantastic Four went through Valeria and Franklin without Galactus.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's true. That is interesting.
I bet they
Like,
ate Franklin and Valeria.
ugh, that's so sad. Well, yeah, this is a world without the Fantastic Four now, but it is interesting the little touches of altered history in this universe. Like Captain America was president, he's called Colonel America, actually. Galactus and the Silver Surfer had never showed up on Earth before for some reason. All these small little tidbits of like, oh, so there is another history to this world other than like the 616 Marvel universe.
Yeah. Because the zombies are kind of falling apart, parts of the Silver Surfer will also pop out of their body, and they've been satiating their hunger by grabbing whatever parts of the Silver Surfer pops out of their body, shoving it back into their mouths. Because
Yeah.
they're degenerates now.
Oh, it's disgusting. Parts of the surfer pop out of Banner's body and he just nibbles on it to keep his hunger at bay.
Yeah.
And Tony explains, yeah, it's not going to last forever, but it's good for satiating our hunger for now, to keep our heads clear enough so we can come up with a plan to kill and then devour Galactus.
And meanwhile, Galactus is in Times Square fighting the villain zombies. Interesting.
Yeah, and you know, this was crazy because I want to go back to the first few issues when most of the other zombies were around. The hero camp was surrounded by heroes, but you know who I saw pop up a lot in the hero camp?
Who?
The Vulture.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember it now.
You have Nova and Hercules and even Deadpool and all these guys, and then the Vulture's just there, the classic Spider-Man villain. And then you get to issue 4 and you're like, wait, there's a whole villain camp of like Doctor Doom and like the Red Skull and fucking Stiltman and everything.
Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Rhino.
And I'm like, why was the Vulture not with them? What was the Vulture doing with the heroes?
Maybe this is like a heroic Vulture. It's because it's an alternate universe for all we know.
Yeah, did the Vulture just go through a whole off-panel redemption arc?
Maybe he
before
never
Marvel
needed it.
Zombies ever happened?
Maybe he was always a hero.
Yeah, was the Vulture always a hero in the original universe for Marvel Zombies? That's insane.
Or maybe it's like, oh, here's this guy. He's a villain, but he just got stuck in the hero camp, so he just hangs out with the heroes for now.
Because he was like, I'm here anyways. I don't want to move.
Yeah. T'Challa and Janet are back in the asteroid, and they're like, "You brought us a sample," and he goes like, "No, Janet's got to live. She's got to like be cured." And also, like, they kind of are discussing building robot prosthetics for T'Challa.
Yeah, so it looks like there is hope after all. Hopefully for a cure for the zombie infection, hopefully for Janet, and hopefully the prosthetics for T'Challa, so he can quite literally get back on his feet. And it's interesting because among the survivors, we find Forge, the mutant who can build whatever he can think of is his mutant power. And so it's really cool seeing him still around on this universe and still human, still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Nothing says dystopian future like having Forge on your team.
Exactly. You always need that tech guy.
Yeah, just to keep you alive. Keep building things just to stall the inevitable.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty bleak, but yeah, the crew is introduced. Reynolds is their science guy, and he's been tasked with curing Janet. And then Cortez asks Hendrix to help show T'Challa to his quarters and make him feel at home. And she's already attracted to Black Panther.
How do you know?
Well, I don't want to spoil things, but the ending of this series proves me right.
You
First
know,
of all, the way the panel is drawn to focus on her face with such glee and intent, as she says, with pleasure.
I don't want to be that guy. But if you go to a hotel and you go to the bar hop and it's like, hey, I'm going to this room, they always will go with pleasure, and they'll look at you in a strange way.
Well, this is a little something else, as we will
Yeah,
see later.
I don't blame her because Chadwick Boseman is relatively a handsome, you know.
Yeah, he was. R.I.P. Miss him every day. But
Yeah,
yes.
he was a great guy. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's accurate casting because T'Challa, the Black Panther himself, is a very good looking guy.
yeah,
Even when you tear off his arm and like his foot too, still got them
yeah.
good looks.
Especially because yeah, Forge just build him a new one just right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there is hope for the future. But meanwhile, the issue 4 ends with the Avengers with a giant laser that will channel their power cosmic to kill Galactus so they can eat him. So the
but
issue ends with them firing off this giant laser.
well, one of them says "Space Goddess" on the menu tonight,
Yeah, like they're going all in. It's like it's time to eat the world devour.
and they knock him down. Like the next issue just starts with like the villains running as Galactus falls.
Yeah, and now all the villains want dibs on Galactus. They're all calling dibs on his different body parts. And of course Venom is like, I want his brains, because why wouldn't Venom be the one to want brains out of all of them?
Yeah, because this is when we were going. Venom has to eat brains and chocolate for some reason,
Yeah. It was a big thing at the time for everyone to be like, yeah, Venom wants to eat brains.
and chocolate.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think that's one of the silliest things they ever done to Venom.
Yeah, it is silly. But I have a fondness for it. I think it's silly in a fun way.
Yeah, I also always wonder. I was like, okay, it was like, can Venom really become a zombie? He basically is a zombie anyway.
Yeah. Well, they explore a little bit of that as soon as
They
we get
do.
into this big hero versus villain fight because all the villains want to eat Galactus and then the zombie Avengers are like, hold it right there. This one here is ours. This is our meat. This is our claim. This is our kill. Like, you don't get to barge in on that.
This is our booty,
Yeah.
as Bradley Cooper says.
Yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
But it's funny because the villains goes, "Well, we did all the work," and the Avengers like, "No, we did. You guys were just annoying him as he ate the
Yeah.
planet."
We literally shot him down with a giant power cosmic laser. This is ours.
And it's funny. Brock goes like, "Oh, we have another chance to kill you, Parker." And Peter goes like, "I don't think it's gonna work out today, Brock. Just let me be
Yeah.
honest."
And it's like a big splash page, this full page that's the classic cover that you would get of a hero versus villain or a superhero team versus superhero team fight. They're
Yeah.
all lined up and facing each other and ready to square off. And
But
so the Avengers easily destroy them since these zombies have the power cosmic. It also explains too Spider-Man kills Venom, and it was revealed when he's dying, Eddie Brock says he was no longer a suitable host for the symbiote, and the symbiote was dying anyways because it couldn't bond with zombie Eddie Brock. They were incompatible.
they still did though.
Yeah, but like it couldn't survive off of that. It couldn't subsist off of that forever.
The one Avenger who loses though is zombie Colonel America because Red Skull just rips his brains out.
Yeah, Captain Colonel America is literally on top of the Red Skull and thinks he's like got him dead to rights, but the Red Skull just reaches into the opening in Steve's brain and rips his brains out. R.I.P. Colonel America.
Yeah, and Red Skull just like, I know I'm gonna lose, but he says it was all worth it to do that.
Yeah. But then he gets
Yeah.
his head blown off by Spider-Man. There's a whole montage of them just killing all these other villains. Wolverine jams his claws into like the rhino's face, like into his mouth, because that's like his only exposed area, and just blasts him with the power cosmic.
What was it again? Wolverine fought Juggernaut, right?
Juggernaut, yeah.
Yeah, you said Rhino.
Yeah, Hulk eats the rhino and he regrets it because of the horn on his head. He like ate the rhino's head and he's like, ugh, it hurts. And this is just in time for Galactus to get up.
And I thought like, oh, like they're gonna have another fight, but they just eat Galactus. He doesn't really stand a chance.
Yeah, because Galactus has just gotten up, so Giant Man is talking all the heroes up, being like, all right, let's keep him off balance. This is it. We got him. And they all rush him and they knock him down. And like, again, a giant, gruesome panel spread, like this whole grid of just close ups, just like with Magneto at the beginning of the series. Close up shots of them eating flesh and like ripping out intestines. And there's this full page just of them eating Galactus.
Yeah. 5 years later, though, Janet's not cured, but it seems her hunger's gone because she's in a mech suit.
Yeah, they put her head in this like robot suit.
Yeah.
And she seems, yeah, she's one of the crew at this point. She's walking around with everyone. Like the acolytes arrive back on Earth. T'Challa has his prosthetics, and he and Hendrix have a son named Kashamba, a little baby.
Always nice to see. I feel whenever, whatever universe there is, T'Challa always ends up procreating.
Yeah, he has to spread his royal bloodline,
It's like how they
continue
said,
on.
the royal seed, baby.
Yeah, it's all about fertility, man.
Yeah.
That's what the Black Panther legacy's all about.
I mean, he has a giant statue to increase a man's fertility.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
as Josh loves to mention.
Because it's such a weird one where, like, he just goes, like, it's a gift from Wakanda. It's like, I'm going to be using it tonight. And it's like, that's disgusting, Ben.
Yeah. Hey, if you got it, you may as well use it. But yeah,
But
the acolytes scout ahead and they're like, yeah, there's no one here on this planet. Like, we've searched for all life, human or otherwise, and everyone's gone. And they're like, well, where did they go? The zombies were here. If they're not here, where could they have? They couldn't have just disappeared.
and it's revealed that they kind of are going across different planets, eating entire planets. They're going across the galaxy and planets because we just zoom up on these aliens going like, oh, the world devourer's here. And it's all the Avengers in Galactus uniforms, zombified.
Yeah. This is crazy. These are some goofy ass outfits. They're literally all just cosplaying as Galactus, these Marvel zombies. They're all just wearing the Galactus outfit.
I love the assumption that if you eat Galactus, you get his costume. It's like Kirby.
Yeah, I'm like, did you just use the power cosmic to give yourselves these costumes?
I
Or
think you get it. You just get it if you eat Galactus. It's like
you
the
just
Kirby
inherit
role.
it? It just appears on you?
It's like Kirby, or what's the other one? Santa Claus, where if you kill Santa Claus, you become Santa
Yeah.
Claus.
The Galactus claws.
Yeah,
They
and all
become the new Galactus.
Exactly. That's why he has all those heralds doing the minion stuff for him.
Yeah, and so the issue ends, and this first series ends with all of them standing around in their Galactus outfits, and Hank Pym going, "It's feeding time, boys!"
Damn, yeah, it's a
It's
dark
a really
issue.
goofy and fun and interesting. This whole thing felt like a really long what if tale, which is what it was, you know, even though if it wasn't like, but it's in the tradition of they expand upon their traditional Marvel what if tale, where it's like this 5-issue miniseries that really just explores the consequences of this what if of like, what if they were all zombies and what would that look like? And this ending of, oh my gosh, they became Galactus. That's insane. Their hunger multiplied by 1 billion now, because not only are they zombies, they're Galactus zombies. They gotta be uber hungry. What a crazy fitting ending.
It's also such a dark take on it because there's no good. The good guys don't win. The good guys don't even end with a hope. Really, it's because what? It's like 11 dudes and a lady and a baby left. That's no way to repopulate the Earth. And also, like, there's always this thing I feel in when Earth loses in an post-apocalyptic setting, they always go like, well, there's hope in the other planets, and here there's not. They're eating every planet.
Yeah. There's no hope in other universes apparently, because I think they went to a new galaxy, at least a new solar system, to eat people on other planets.
Yeah, it's depressing. This, as a kid, this this made me sad. I was like, oh, so not only does not humanity loses, life just loses.
Yeah.
It's like the causes of it are like these heroes you really like as a kid.
Yeah, it's a very warped, like twisted, perverted take on these characters and these heroes. But it's still done in a way where it's kind of funny and kind of ridiculous in the lengths that they go to. It feels very intentionally hammy and over the top in like them yelling stuff out like, it's feeding time, boys, and like wearing those ridiculous Galactus outfits and going around eating planets.
They eat the planet? Do you think they just eat the life on that planet?
I'm sure all of the above. They eat all of it.
Yeah.
They're zombie galacti, if that's the plural of Galactuses.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how it manages to be like sad and twisted, but also like funny and silly all at the same time.
Yeah.
And like super dark, but also like, yeah, pretty lighthearted. So it's fun. Yeah. I really loved rereading this.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I think now that I'm a less traumatized teenager, I'm a more adjusted adult who's still traumatized. This is just less traumatizing.
Yeah. No, I would say, like, if you're extra squeamish, if you're, someone who doesn't really like, obviously, like horror and like blood and gore and body horror and things like that, and if you don't like seeing your heroes warped into like almost unrecognizable monsters, this might be tough. If you just like sit back and want to read like a fun horror comic that's a new take on these characters that also still manages to keep some things the same about them, then I'd say this is very enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, any last thoughts, Josh, on these issues?
I'm really glad we did it because I know you and I were discussing and debating whether to do it or not, but I'm glad we did
Yeah,
because
I'm super glad we did.
we generally debated like, is this part of Ultimate? Is it not? There are reasons we did it. Like we go off a list of Ultimate comics, and that list debated whether this is an Ultimate comic. But I also would love to one day do a special if you're down for it to follow up on these characters because these characters continue on.
Yeah, I mean, there's direct sequels to this story. Like Marvel Zombies 2 happens pretty shortly after this with the same creative team and the same cast of characters. I would be so down to continue this journey through Marvel Zombies because it is a spin off of Ultimate Marvel, and I think it's worth discussing.
Maybe a Halloween special.
Who knows? That's a good time to say if you want to tell us more about what you think about Marvel Zombies, our coverage of it, if you want us to continue talking about it in the future, if you enjoyed this, you can email us. Josh, what's our email?
It is ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. Remember, that's comics plural, podcast singular.
That is right. Email us with your thoughts on this episode, other episodes, our show in general, and we'd love to read it on the podcast. And you can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. When on YouTube, we post the full episodes with video. So that's super fun. You can follow us on all those platforms at Ultimate Comics Podcast. And on Instagram and TikTok, you'll see all of our reels and our TikToks and our posts with images from the comics that we read. So don't miss out on that. And yeah, I think next time we will get back to Ultimate Spider-Man. We still have issues 72 through 78 to cover. So I'm very excited about that. Josh, any last thoughts before we depart?
We're excited to hear from you. We always love hearing from everyone. And yeah, back to the classics.
Ultimate Spider-Man, baby.
Yeah.
Back to the classics. All right, until next time, everyone, take care and make mine Ultimate Marvel. Bye bye.